Hello, everybody. Welcome back to ATL. Today we are on episode 8 of the podcast, Monaco Grand Prix.
Monaco.
Um, absolute for Monaco. I don't think it was a bad race. I
Oh,
mean, it was Monaco, but I don't think it was terrible.
okay.
I guess you're sensing a differing opinion.
Well, we could get onto that when we talk about the main race.
Yes,
But as you can see, we're both repping the McLaren.
of
I
course.
because you know what, I was really hoping for McLaren, but well, again, we'll go into that. But essentially, I mean, did you enjoy? Did you? How much of it did you watch?
I watched all of it.
All of it. All
I
right.
mean, the first lap was chaos as
Mm.
per usual and what we expect from Monaco. But I didn't
What
I didn't mind the rest of the battles that came
what about
after.
like the actual main bit of Monaco, i.e., qualifying? The actual
Oh, quali. I saw parts of it.
you
Saw
saw
parts
parts
of
of it. You
it.
didn't watch it. Okay.
I didn't
Um,
watch all of it.
Because I mean, it was this. It's a standard Monaco quali in the sense that it's chaotic. Everyone is on ice because they know it matters more than the race.
Yes, of
Um,
course.
it you know I was throwing things at the end of Q1. I cannot lie. I was really um I was screaming as well. I was sat there nearly on the brink of tears. Uh,
Ah,
because I mean I don't I it's I assume everyone knows what it's Perez. Just
yes, of
P
course, of course.
P18. I mean, he gets bumped up to P16 because of Haas, but still
That's
P18.
shocking. It's shocking.
It is atrocious. It is so bad. It is
I don't understand.
so bad.
He's he's in the fastest car currently. How
Well,
how is he not at
he's
least near max?
that's another thing. Although it's like Red Bull's issues. I mean, I'd say he wasn't in the fastest car, probably the third, but even
Not
so,
this weekend, but yeah.
being P18 is still bad because it seems when you combine slow speed corners with curbs, high risk curbs with an uneven track surface, you get whatever Red Bull turns into, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it's the same with Singapore. It was the same with Singapore last year.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know why, but it seems the car just cannot handle that combination.
No, I know it's quite weird. I mean, I know McLaren and Ferrari have bought significant upgrades in the last two races,
Yeah,
but I mean, supposedly Red Bull were bringing stuff as well. They looked like everybody was going to be kind of level,
yeah.
but no, it just wasn't the weekend that Red Bull were thinking of. I mean, the championship points are getting a lot closer now. I mean, it could be interesting this year.
Shut up.
Emphasis on the could.
Shut up.
But anyway.
No, I know, and it's see, I'm kind of happy because it's certainly a fight for the constructors. Whether it's a fight for the drivers, maybe give it another one or two races to decide whether it is or not.
Yeah,
But for
that's fair.
constructors, you're definitely looking at a fight because at the moment, Red Bull have one driver. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
as much as
Aston
I have
Martin
supported
2.0.
Stroll, no, it's not Stroll. Fucking hell. As much as I supported Perez, right, in the past, at this point, I am struggling to support him.
Yes, yeah, and I
I have
think
I
with
have a
every
flag
week
of him for Christ's sake, right?
I've wrapped myself in that flag.
Exactly. I have a flag, and even now it's still difficult because he's P. Uh, I don't. It's just when he
it,
goes to Europe
it's
as well. It seems whenever he just goes to Europe, he just plummets. Happened last year.
yeah,
Happened kind of the year before, not as badly, but happened the year before. With that,
he's not helping his case for that Red Bull seat for
no.
next year. He's not.
Give it to
I
science,
mean, he's
please,
he's digging himself
please.
he's digging himself a bigger hole. We've spoken about this before, of
Yeah,
course, but yeah, that's going to someone else now.
please
I
give it
think
to
I think it just confirms itself
science.
week on week.
Please give it to science. Please give it to science. I will be
You
so happy if we get Verstappen and Sainz as the
That
two
would
Red Bull
honestly be a
drivers.
very good duo. That'd be
Exactly,
very
it'd be
good.
very dangerous.
I'd be
And
very
I would
worried.
argue that would actually be slightly stronger than Hamilton and Leclerc. I would argue stronger.
Okay. Yeah, I can
Well, when you
see.
have
Because I mean,
two
Hamilton.
two first drivers, i.e. Hamilton and Leclerc,
Yeah.
they butt heads. They'll struggle to work
Yeah.
together. They will in the
Mhm.
beginning because they're on close points. It's at the beginning of the season. It's about the
Yeah, of
constructors.
course.
Towards the middle end, they start looking to themselves and their position in the drivers. So they're going to
Yeah, of
start
course.
butting heads. Signs won races, never really been in the contention for the championship.
Mm.
And these two have worked before. They're good friends.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I forgot about
So
that.
they're
What
both
was
they're
it?
two
Mm.
strong drivers, and they have that dynamic of good teammates when it comes to constructors.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, what was it? Toro Rosso back in the day,
Mm. 16,
2016.
16, yeah, yeah.
Yes, 2016. I
No,
mean,
actually, no, 15,
oh,
I
crikey, it
think.
was that long ago. But anyway, it was. I mean, I reckon no matter where Snoops goes, he'll be valued. He'll be right there. He'll be. I reckon he'll be making a good few decisions. I reckon
Yes.
this year will almost kind of cement himself as potentially the first, sorry, first driver in the team.
Yeah, yeah,
Driver
yeah.
number one.
It depends where he goes. I mean,
I think.
James Vowles has kind of turned on Logan Sargent a bit, so there's certainly a
Yeah,
seat there. I mean, I don't really
but
blame James
why? Why?
Vowles. I don't blame
I
him.
would just hold out for the Red Bull seat because I reckon Perez is shooting himself in the foot.
Maybe he is.
He's going to be gone.
Maybe he is. We don't know.
Maybe he
We don't
is.
know. We
Maybe,
just don't know.
but
Um, but if you, I mean, you're right. The Rebels the most sensible choice, I suppose.
yeah.
Everyone
Then
who's
you've got
saying,
Merck, I reckon.
yeah, but everyone who's saying, oh, Verstappen to Mercedes, Sainz to Mercedes, why? Why go to Mercedes at the moment?
The only
They're
reason I would
midfield.
go with Mercedes is because of their plan. Because I mean, when Lewis obviously got given the Ferrari,
Okay.
he obviously got shown right. Come to Ferrari, we're going to give you this, and here's why you should come. We've got an extensive
So
2 year, 3 year plan whilst you're here. Blah 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 blah
you
blah.
say because of Mercedes plans. Name me a plan that has worked in the last 3 years.
And we move swiftly on. Right.
um,
Um.
that's what I mean. It's like they seem to be still possibly not as sinking as much as they used to be, but if anything,
No.
they have just cemented themselves as a midfield team, in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't quite understand. I mean, I either see. To be perfectly honest, I'd love to see Kimi Antonelli get that seat.
Oh,
I reckon it'd be good for the sport. I mean, it'd be somebody who's brought in on their own merits, not a Stroll character. cough, cough. Um, but no, I reckon it'd be good for him. I mean, it's
yeah,
a young driver. He's what 16, 17, which is
yeah,
quite ludicrous. I mean,
yeah,
we're both 18, 19,
yeah.
talking on a podcast whilst he's younger than us,
No need to remind
earning
me.
millions.
No need to
Yeah,
remind me.
quite sad. But anyway,
Yeah,
I think that'd be good for him. I mean, if a team's just interested in him, he's obviously going to go for it, no
yeah,
matter if it's Mercedes, whoever.
yeah,
In his right mind, he just wants that seat. So I think for the sport, it'd be
mm,
good for him. But I reckon there is no way this will. If Mercedes came up with a plan that it would tempt Verstappen or something, I just don't see that
yeah,
happening.
yeah. And before we start actually dissecting the race, bit by bit, right? We start going through it.
Yeah.
What we have done for the first time is I kind of let's say magpied. We'll use That's a nice word for it. We'll say magpied off of sort of the Grand Tour, Top Gear kind of style, and I drive a lap and talk through the streets of Monaco. Um, so yeah, I mean, enjoy. Yep. So that was me driving and talking through Monaco. I am so happy now that I can actually drive Monaco.
I was going to say that was very, very good. I mean, normally you kind of look at Monaco on the F1 games, you're like, you're staying away.
I,
No,
I,
no,
I
no.
run away from Monaco, right? And
Exactly.
but now I can actually drive it, and it's slowly getting better. I mean, that lap I actually did was a few days ago now, and since then I've been doing 50% races, time trials, and I've actually improved it. But 11.8, which is what I did, it puts me, I think it was P13 or P14 in this year's qualifying.
I was going to say, it is a
It's a solid
fairly
lap. It's not,
respectable
yeah,
lap.
yeah,
That's really, really good,
yeah.
actually. I mean,
Thank you, thank you.
I get nowhere near that. I
Just wait
mean,
for F124 when we do two-player career modes, right? We
God. This game's already shambled. I
No, I
mean,
know,
it hasn't
I
even
know,
been
it's so bad.
uploaded.
I get access to it tomorrow because I've pre-ordered it.
Oh, have
Um,
fun with that one, mate. Have fun
I'll,
with that.
I'll, I'll let everyone know how it goes. I'm, Yeah. Let's see if
You were
I'm.
really
Let's see if
regretting that
let's
now.
see if
You
I'm
really
70
regret.
quid down the drain. Right. Let's see if I'm 70 quid down the drain.
I reckon you'll be 70 quid down the drain until they come up with the first patch.
But yeah. So from that we know Monaco, a historical track, a beautiful track, and I think since I've been able to drive it, it's probably my favorite track to actually drive on. Not watch,
Fair
but
enough.
drive on.
Fair enough. I mean, it
Um.
is like technical. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Oh, it's so technical.
pinnacle of like being a good driver. If you
Yeah.
can bash out laps at Monaco,
Yeah.
then fair enough. I mean, you've got the greats to do it. You've got Hamilton, Schumacher,
Mm,
Senna, Prost. The list goes on. I mean,
yeah.
if you win Monaco, you're destined for greatness, basically.
I was thinking this as well. I mean, obviously, in sort of in terms of achievement, like if I was a racer, it would be sort of the drivers, and then it would be home Grand Prix, and then Monaco.
Yeah, yeah, I 100% agree with that.
Like, because just winning at Monaco is something you can put on your CV, right? And then, regardless if you failed all your GCSEs, as long as you can say you're a race winner at Monaco, you're
Yes.
becoming a CEO. You know, it's like
Yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%.
it.
I mean, it's so tight, narrow,
Mm,
twisty turny. There's no like let off. There's no run off
mhm,
area
mhm.
anywhere. You lose concentration for a second, you're in. And I mean, fair enough to Charles Leclerc. I mean, it's taken him
He broke the
five
curse.
tries, six tries.
Broke the curse. So fair play. And it's
He
always
did.
nice. And even though I'm a Rebel fan, and you might agree as a Mercedes, but if there's a driver who is their home Grand Prix, I root for them a little bit more than everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, you kind of feel bad every year because you're like, oh, Charles Leclerc, he's obviously going to try and do well, but you know he's going to kind of
Because obviously,
screw it up
yeah,
somehow.
obviously the goal is relative. I mean, Yuki in Japan scored his first ever points in Japan, so for him
Yeah,
that's
of
a
course.
success. Stroll not crashing in Canada, that's a success. Uh,
Yeah, 100%.
so you know you kind of hope for the home boys to actually do well at home.
Yeah.
Um, but right at the beginning, you said it was very interesting race. You thoroughly enjoyed it.
For Monaco, I actually quite
So,
enjoyed it.
what would you say out of 10 then? If you know, if we're doing a little
All right.
rating.
Well, I'll give you two ratings. I'll give you a
No, no,
Monaco compared to
I want
Monaco
one
ratings.
rating. I want one
You want
rating.
one rating for the Monaco Grand Prix comparative to all of the races so far this year. I'm gonna give it, in my opinion, five and a half.
Okay, I'm
But
glad.
to be fair, the, apart from maybe two races this year, I'd say a fair few of them have been average.
Yeah, yeah, I will agree. But I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I did fall asleep for about 10 laps. I'm not gonna lie to you. I fell asleep for 10 laps.
Fair enough.
I mean, the thing is, as I said, I love Monaco, and I think people who are saying Monaco, the track is the issue, it should be taken off. It's the cars that are the issue, right? The cars
Yes,
are
I
just
think it is.
way too wide now. They're way too
They are. I
wide.
mean, it's impossible. I mean,
Exactly.
as you saw with the first lap crash, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Normally, back in the day, you could get three, two cars easily work through there, but now the cars are what 2 meters wide, three
Yeah,
meters long.
yeah.
It's just not possible.
No, it's not. And you know, I think instead of taking it off, maybe it needs to try sort of like Spa being reevaluated for what could work. I think Monaco needs to be reevaluated.
Yes, I think you're right with
Maybe a sort of a DRS straight under the tunnel's a bit tricky because of the sort of the curve.
that.
Um,
Yeah,
my dad actually suggested sprinklers all over the track to make it wet,
that would be quite interesting. Wet race in Monaco. Oof.
which I thought was actually a good idea.
It's not a bad idea at all. I mean, when was it last wet in Monaco? Oh yeah, that was the year Charles Leclerc had a shit pit strategy, wasn't
Yep,
it?
yep. Way to bring it
2022.
up. Way
Yeah.
to bring it up.
Well,
But no, I thought maybe sprinklers. You know what? That could be interesting. You know,
I
FIA. Don't
reckon it
tell
could be.
anyone. Just press a button. Sprinklers start coming on, and everyone's just like, "Shit, what do we do?" Um, I think that would actually be quite funny and interesting.
I reckon it would as well.
But no, I mean, there was four overtakes overall,
That's got to
and
be record numbers for Monaco.
the top 10 did not change.
No, no. I was surprised to be perfectly honest because I thought at the end was it Verstappen was going to get Russell, but as you know, in Monaco,
Yeah,
it's all about
track
position on the
decision.
road.
Yeah, I mean, even
Yeah,
the commentators were saying we will see what wins. A faster car with fresher tires is
Hmm.
is that better, or is track position around Monaco better? And it was track position.
Yeah, it's obviously track position. I mean, the entire time. I mean, the first was it? I thought the first 10, 15 laps were all well, everybody was together just before the round of pit stops. Oh wait,
There wasn't even any pit stops.
oh no,
That's
there
the thing.
wasn't any pit stops.
The
No,
the interesting part about Monaco is you can't overtake, so strategy is key. With that red
yeah,
flag, there was no strategy. Everyone
no,
pitted.
you're right.
They changed their tires. That could go to the end. That was it. So
It was
everyone,
only Verstappen, Russell, and Hamilton that
yep.
pitted,
And
weren't
then a
they?
few
Yeah,
of the Astons that had issues, but that was not anything
yeah,
to gain or lose, right? So you got to look at it, and it's thinking it was a game of everyone managing their tires.
yeah. I guess, but I mean, there was quite a nice battle between what was it, Lando, Sainz, Piastri, and Leclerc. I mean, they were all kind of like just a
See,
caterpillar.
it was interesting for Ferrari to keep them back so they couldn't get a pit stop gap.
Yes,
That was
yes.
interesting. Unfortunately, it did kill it because obviously they couldn't pit, so they couldn't attack, so it couldn't be interesting.
No,
Um,
but
but
I guess that's just
it was kind of like as soon as the second restart, it was kind of okay, bring it home, and
yeah.
so it's a difficult one. Obviously, take away, separate it. The results are good. Obviously, Leclerc winning
Mhm.
home race, Red Bull losing the gap, possibly a constructors' battle. So it makes it interesting. It was a good race in that regard.
Oh yeah, of
But in
course, yeah.
actual, when you look at the race separately and not
Hmm.
look at the sort of, don't take your favorite driver into consideration,
Yeah.
you're looking at like 3 out of 10.
Okay. I can understand that,
Yeah,
but yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed it.
yeah. But as it stands, I do have like a lovely little list of just stuff. Right, I just noted through the race, right when I wasn't asleep. Um, so we had Perez's crash.
Of course.
What his fault, Magnussen's fault, racing incident? What? Talk me through what you
Um.
saw.
So whilst watching it, I mean,
Yeah,
Jenson Button and Anthony Davis did a very good like
they did. Yeah.
SkyPad look at that. And I mean, they both they all come into the corner. You've got Hulkenberg on side,
Mm,
Perez and Magnussen. It's kind of very much like that. They're all just behind Perez. And Magnussen should look at the road and go, right, it narrows.
yeah.
I'm not getting through here. There's no point. But I understand you're a racing driver. You do the center saying,
Mm,
if there's a gap, you go for it, of course.
yeah.
However, you've got to be sensible and go, I want to live.
Yeah.
I want to live to
I
see
wanna-
the end of lap one.
right.
But but then on the other hand, Perez could see that he was
He was there.
looking
Yeah.
always to his right. He
Yeah.
was looking always to his right, and Hulkenberg was far enough across that he could have moved over, and they could have potentially all gone through. So I reckon it's a racing incident. I reckon there are so many contributing factors that it makes it a racing incident. It relies on him to do this. It relies on him to do that,
I
and
think
they're both
yeah,
racists. So.
it's very borderline racing. So like you could debate it for ages, and I think
Oh,
it's
of
very
course.
borderline because I mean, as you rightly said, I mean, looking at the interviews, Perez expected Manison to pull out, which, in his perspective, would be the sensible thing to do, and then
Yeah, of
Magnussen's
course.
perspective, he'd expect him to give him room, which again is the sensible thing to do.
Yeah,
Both of what they expected to the driver to do is racing etiquette. It's what you expect, but because they thought they expected the other one to do the other thing,
hmm
and neither of them did, then they went.
no, yeah. So based off that, I call that racing.
Yeah. Okay, fine. I'm glad we agreed on that. So we're
Yeah,
not here for
I kind of
hours
feel
on
bad
end.
for. Yeah, of course. But I mean, you got to feel bad for Hulkenberg.
Oh, I felt so
He's
bad for
seen
him.
this crash happen. He's like, I've got to get through. I've got to get through, and he just gets
He was
tagged at the
fuming
end.
as well. He was fuming. He was screaming how unnecessary that it was, and because it was,
Yes, yeah,
um, it was sort of two hotheads face
yes, yeah,
off.
it was.
Um,
Mhm.
and then shortly after, actually, this before the red flag went out, because obviously it was just a yellow flag at that point in the sector.
Yes,
Um, Ocon on Gasly.
I know that was an odd one.
Yeah,
Wasn't expecting that.
to the point where he nearly turned into an air balloon, a French air balloon, and went off into the sky. Okay, like
It was dumb.
it was
It was
so. I
so
mean, it
dumb.
ended his race, you know, and
Yeah, of course. I mean, he's realistically he's he, Alpine are shite. Sorry, let's just get that out of the way.
they
They
are.
need every point that they can get.
Well, they're ninth
You can't be making a dive bomb there.
on your
It's just
teammate.
so unnecessary when potential points are on the table.
Yeah,
I mean, he's absolutely just sent it with no
yeah,
regards of like what's going to
yeah,
happen at the end of it. I reckon there is serious
yeah,
bad blood
yeah, yeah.
in I reckon.
It's
I
uh,
mean, because what was it? Their team principal yelled at
oh
Ocon.
yeah,
He had
yeah, yeah.
apologized on social
I got
media and everything.
I got it right. It's great. It's great.
Go on then.
It's in French, but so it's I just took a few translated English words. But it was, oh, as you said, Ocon apologized to social media. He never apologized to Pierre. He only apologized to the team. Right. I just want to clear that up.
Yes,
He never apologized to Gasly directly. Um, however, his team principal stated he will be severely punished.
I reckon that just means he's not going to get the first choice in like upgrades or anything.
See, yeah, and they were debating this, like, what could that mean? Because obviously they're not going to bench him. That wouldn't do
No, of
anyone
course not.
good.
No,
His contract's expiring at the end of the year. Is
I reckon that's
that's
too
a very
ballsy
severe
for
that's a very
anybody.
severe
That's
punishment, but
really severe
but you're right.
for one
Maybe
race.
yeah,
Yeah, no.
maybe Gasly. Maybe they directly say right. Gasly takes the charge, takes the leads because he obviously
Yeah,
beat Ocon last year. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, it was just always interesting. I thought, oh, what is the punishment? What's going on
It
behind
is
Alpine? Because
very,
they do
very
not
odd.
need any more issues at the moment. They got plenty of them.
Christ, no way.
Yeah. So we got that, and then we've got so the red flag came out, right?
Hmm.
Blah 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 blah. All and then Hamilton starts crying to his team. Well, not crying. Right, that is actually a strong word. I apologize. Um, complaining, saying, "I told you guys this was the wrong tire." And he started to complain, saying once again it seems the team didn't listen to his idea, and Hamilton was right, which happens quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand. I mean, the driver's got an opinion,
Yeah,
and I mean, fair enough. But the team have
the data.
telemetry data.
Yeah,
They have everything at their
yeah,
disposal. They have a strategy in place,
yeah.
and they believe that the tyre that they started on was the right tyre. They had a strategy in place. They could have done, I don't know, miracles with the strategy, but I
And
mean, it all came crashing down, and they went on to the mediums, which I
yeah.
think Hamilton wanted to in the end. So I mean, it worked out fine.
But if I'm being honest, I felt really bad for both Mercedes drivers, which you won't hear me say often. Okay, so just
I know.
right, yeah.
Clipping it. We're clipping it.
Shut up. I feel bad for both of them because obviously you had Hamilton against Mercedes in that regards, and then you had Russell who wanted to attack. He wanted to, go for it. And every
Yes.
single time Mercedes telling him, "Don't you dare." Um,
Yeah, I thought that was very, very like odd.
he's
I mean,
he's a
as a racing
racing driver.
driver,
Yeah,
let's go fast. I'm in a fast car. I want to go quick.
exactly. And
But
he was saying in his
I don't
interview
understand.
he smelt a possible podium, like very small chance, or at least if he can stay with them and something happens, let's say theoretically Norris goes for a move on Sainz, clips him, and they both get a terrible exit. Russell right behind benefits from both of them, and then
Yeah.
he's instantly on the podium. So he wanted to be in that position to possibly benefit from any mistake, but Mercedes just would not let him.
No, I don't understand why they would do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of odd.
Is that why you're
Every
wearing
time
the?
he was like, let's.
Is that why you're wearing the McLaren shirt? You switched.
Well,
You
my
can now switch.
Mercedes one's in the wash at the moment.
I was wondering whether you switched or not after that race, but yeah. Sorry, carry on.
No, no, no. You got to stick with the team through the bag. Come on.
Okay.
But no, it was just odd. I don't see why he was losing. What was he like? 17, 18 seconds. Uh, why?
And they only
There's
permitted
no
him to
need.
push when obviously Verstappen was behind him, so he closed the gap to about 10 in the end, but he was still
It's such
losing
a tap decision.
several like a second at least every single lap, and it's
I don't know what Mercedes were thinking. I'd honestly call that quite a bad strategy for Mercedes. I mean,
yeah,
obviously, not a clue what's going on and what they're seeing, but
it was
I that was pretty
yeah,
poor.
it was a case of it was like, oh my god, we've done well in qualifying. Let's just not do anything and hold out to keep it.
Yeah,
It was kind
It
of a
was
bit
just
like that. I
really
felt
odd.
like.
No, no, no. That's the right way to say it.
Yeah, and I mean that's it. So unfortunately, Mercedes kind of unpopular with both their drivers. I imagine. I imagine the debrief was just the drivers hammering down on the team, like
I
joining
reckon it will have
forces and just having a go at them.
Yeah, I
And I
reckon
don't
you're
blame
right on
them.
that.
I don't blame them.
No, no, no. Of course not.
No. I will admit, I jumped. I got out. I was sort of like led across napping, right? Then woke up, and then I realised, and then I actually jumped up when Stroll had a puncture. I'm not sure if you remember. Yeah.
As you say, I don't know what happened there. He pitted and he comes out with a fat
Well,
ass
actually,
puncture.
he hit a wall, which caused a puncture.
Oh, is that what it was? Fair enough.
It was round the Nouveau chicane. The rear left, it's just sort of tapped that barrier. He went in too early, clipped it, puncture. And if it
Wow, that
happened,
seems quite excessive.
if it happened a few meters before, that tire would have rolled out onto the track and caused a safety car, which would have changed everything.
Yes, it would have.
But
That
he
would have been.
just got into the pits, and how dare he be safe, get in the pits, and not give us a safety car?
How dare he be sensible? How dare he?
It's Stroll. He's never
Um,
sensible, and now all
no,
of a sudden he
exactly.
wants to be, when it would make it interesting. It's not. No, it's not
But
fair.
no,
It's not fair. He,
it is. I don't get it.
but
It's just
what I will
weird.
say, um, I give credit when credit's due. I well done to him because some of those four overtakes was him on other drivers. In one lap he
Yeah, they
overtook
were.
two cars.
Yeah,
Granted,
fair
it
enough.
was
Yeah.
on new softs, but still, as we
A
stated
pass around
before,
Monaco is a pass around Monaco.
a faster car or better tyres does not matter. So getting that overtake, fair play to him. Honestly, fair
Yeah,
play
yeah,
to
of
him.
course.
Um, Speaking of which, one of those overtakes was on Sargent. And moving on to Sargent, Williams, right? Alex Albon says, unfortunately, getting my first points, it was quite a boring race to get my first points, but first points are first points.
Yeah, points,
To
points.
which Williams bumped themselves to P8, overtaking Alpine. They're tied, but Williams have that P9, whereas Alpine have two P10s.
P10s. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Um,
fair enough from
yeah.
them. I mean, points are points no matter where they come, how entertaining they are. I mean,
I was
that could be the
hoping
difference between millions.
Yeah, I was hoping for a few more DNS just to tick off Albon top 7 on my bingo card, but unfortunately he stayed P9. Like, even if it was like, Yuki, just you've got enough points already. Just settle
Yeah,
down this one race. But no, he did well as well. First points in Monaco, as he stated.
yeah. You started.
And I stand by what I said. Racing Bulls will catch Aston.
I
They've caught them
I know it's
by
only
another.
one
They've
race.
caught them by another 4 points.
I reckon that'll be one of the points battles that goes down
The
to
last
quite
three
close to the wire.
races, Racing Bulls have been catching up to them.
Yeah, I mean, what was it Alonso? Another name that did quite poorly
Oh
this
God,
weekend.
yeah. He went under the
And I
radar
mean,
a bit.
Stroll, but it's just it's not going well for Aston at the moment. I mean, don't know what's going on
Well,
with
I think they do the sort of comparing of last year, this year qualifying, and Aston were the only one that actually was slower.
yeah,
So it seems they had their trait was slow speed corners, right, and low acceleration, and they seem to have lost that trait now.
right.
At least to me, it seems they've lost that trait.
I kind of guess so, but I mean, every team has different traits. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just kind of
I
the
thought
ebb and flow of the sport.
possibly them trying to improve the car in other aspects. They've haven't focused and lost that aspect they had.
Yes.
It happens. Um, but unfortunately, Aston poor race. But I do stand by it. Racing Bulls will beat, and I will happily bet on this because I am positive Racing Bulls will overtake Aston Martin at this point. Okay,
I mean, I reckon it'll get close, but I don't think so.
I think so. Mark my words. If they do, you're getting a buzz cut.
We've known that.
Well, no, it's actually a reverse fade, but we'll move past that. And then also a championship fight. Obviously at the end, I did note down top 3, both drivers and constructors. So constructors 276, Red Bull, number 1.
Mhm.
Ferrari, any guesses?
They like 250s.
Yeah, 252, which is only 24 points away.
I mean, it only takes another poor Paris performance and a good weekend by
Okay.
Ferrari.
Okay, shut up. And then McLaren 184. Now, unfortunately, they did have the sort of three races where they were, you know, a bit further behind. Give McLaren the opportunity.
I reckon they'll rise to it. I mean, they've got Norris and Piastri. I mean, Piastri, what is it? Is it second year in?
Second year, yeah,
Yeah, it is second. Jesus
second
Christ,
year, and he's had three podiums.
he's
He had a
doing
P3 in Japan, P2 in Qatar, and a P2 in Monaco. Which I
I
was
mean, he's
looking at
doing
it.
well.
Some drivers, they get their podiums at sort of lesser tracks, but him, Suzuka, Monaco, big
I mean,
names.
yeah, exactly. I mean, he's doing
He's doing
really,
very
really
well.
well. I mean, surprising. I mean,
Mm,
it happens a lot, but some people come into like big teams and bust
yep,
occasionally. They don't do as well. I mean,
yep,
was it Ricardo's a big name that's gone
yep.
to Racing Bulls and isn't doing it quite as well? But I mean,
No,
he's done the reverse. He's kind of
and
come in as
mm, if
not a lot, and he's doing really, really well. I
mm,
mean, I'm hoping that McLaren can bring the fight because Mercedes sure as hell isn't.
no. And if Beth is watching this, I do not apologize in any single way. But Ricardo is washed. He does not deserve the Red Bull seats. I'm not even
No,
sure
he
if he
doesn't.
deserves the Racing Bull seat, if I'm being honest.
No, I reckon that's Lawson's.
I,
I reckon that's
I,
going to go Lawson as well.
sorry, Beth. I'd say he's out, if I'm being honest. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, forgive me. Please still bring me back a present from wherever you are. Um, and so there's a definite fight in the constructors, right? We can say that
Yeah.
there is a fight. Now, what we said for the drivers, maybe give it a race or two just to see how it pans out. But as it stands,
Yes.
Norris bumps up to P3 now,
Mm-hmm.
113.
Nice.
Not bad, bearing in mind he finished last year with just going over 200 points.
We'll get that easy.
Exactly. Well,
Easy
I
peasy.
say get maybe 300 this year.
I
Um,
reckon it'd be, yeah.
Leclerc
329.
138.
Yep.
Again, not bad. But Verstappen 169. So 31 points. That
It's not as big as it has been the last two seasons.
Nope.
I
That's what I
mean,
mean.
normally at this year, at this point, he's looking to run away with it already. And I mean, he's pegged to win it by flipping, I don't know, end of Europe most times. But this year, I reckon we're looking forward to a good title fight,
Yeah.
even if it's not like a proper title fight, kind of like Lewis in 2017 and 2018. But as long as it keeps it like chugging along, we don't know for certain
Yeah.
12 races in.
Yeah.
At least
Uh,
there's some suspense.
I mean, unfortunately, to put it in perspective, Perez has just to put in perspective his sort of declines already this year. 2 races ago, he was P2 in the championship.
Hmm.
Now he's P5.
I mean, it's just a testament of other teams' work. I mean,
Yeah.
I get they might have been unlucky, but realistically, joint fastest car should be P2 with your
Exactly.
teammate.
Exactly. But overall, it's a very Monaco itself I found not to be interesting at all, but what it's created after, in terms of the championship fights, the new
Is
dynamics,
very good.
it's very interesting. It's very good. But something possibly you know hasn't been this interesting since 2021, which we'll avoid because it's us two. Uh, so it should be right. Don't shake your head. Don't shake your head.
We ain't
Um,
going there. We ain't going there.
because I'll win again. But anyway,
You
to
will not.
right, no, we're avoiding this.
We're avoiding this.
We're avoiding this. We said we're
We'll
not
do
gonna.
another episode just
No,
on
we
2021.
said we're not gonna talk about 2021. We
I will.
promised Beth we're not gonna do it, right?
No. Another episode.
And
Another
and it's
completely
because you do
different.
not want me to embarrass you. Anyway, so it's for the last 2 years, right? It's probably gonna be more interesting than the last 2 years. That's all I need to say. Shush. Okay. Um, but no, I think yeah, I think that's all of it. And of course, next time we are in Canada.
Hmm.
You know, you quite like Canada, don't you? You
I don't
really
mind
yeah
Canada.
yeah
It's a good track. I mean, it has lots of components to it. I mean, it has the fast straights. It has a lot of technical
mhm
corners.
mhm
I especially like the first couple of corners. I mean, turn one, turn two, turn three
yep
is always quite interesting. And I mean, it's just a good track. I mean, it's got a lot of history. I mean, um, Button pitting 6 times and winning pulling that out of his arse somehow. I mean, Lewis, I think he got his first race win. Could be very wrong with
You
that
should know.
statement,
You
but
should know this. You're a Lewis
I,
fan,
I
but
should know. Give me 30 seconds.
oh,
We shall find.
oh, okay. He's actually researching this.
Uh, Hamilton first win. Canada 2007.
Well
Let's
done.
go.
Well done.
Knew I was right.
So no,
I knew
yeah,
I could do it.
it's very good. There's a I love the sort of hairpin. Love that hairpin.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so good for overtakes and also for the entire straight. You know, it sets itself up for the main straight.
Oh, of
Um,
course. I mean, yeah.
so I'm looking forward to it.
World Champions, of course.
Oh, love the world champions. Um, so we're not going to do bingo cards because that's between me and Beth, and obviously she's not here. I know what I need to tick off. I'm not entirely sure what she needs to tick off, but we'll do that when she's back. Now, what is your prediction for Canada? Do you want to do top 3 or top 5? I do not mind.
Let's do top 5.
We'll do top
make
5.
it interesting.
Yeah, we'll do top 5. What's your top 5 for Canada? Okay.
Paris 5th.
Okay.
4th, we're going to go Piastri.
Okay.
3rd,
Podium now.
Leclerc.
Okay.
2nd, Verstappen. 1st, Norris.
So where's Sainz?
I reckon he's not. I reckon he's going to DNF. Oddly.
Oh. Okay. Right.
I reckon he's going to DNF.
You know what? If you got that right to the T, 1st to 5th, and Sainz DNF, I will give you 50 quid.
You heard it here.
I will give you 50
I'm
quid.
holding you to that.
I will give you 50 quid, which you'll probably spend in a day at uni. But you know what? To know I've given you some
True.
food, it brings joy to my heart.
Thank you for starting you.
No, so I agree with Norris P1.
Okay.
Verstappen P2. So 1st and 2nd we agree with.
Cool.
Piastri P3.
Fair enough.
Leclerc P4.
Mm-hmm.
Sainz P5. Unfortunately, again, I don't think Perez is going to do particularly well. Because, I don't know, if I go to Canada, right, if we have a look at the race results for last year, if it would actually load, yeah, Perez went P6 in the end.
Not great then.
No, not great. And I think he'll do even worse this year. I'm looking forward to Albon though, because that's where he got his first. You know, that was his stellar defense, and he got P7 for Williams.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. Of course
which
it
is
was, yes.
it's difficult to believe that was a year ago now, but it is.
I mean, yeah. Looking at it, I mean, what was it? Fernando Alonso 2nd, Lewis Hamilton 3rd. Things we can only dream of nowadays.
Exactly. I mean, I every race, I think more and more we're not going to see a Mercedes or an Aston podium this year.
No, it's quite sad.
Which is a pain because I don't like seeing very few teams on the podium.
No, but I mean, as
But-
long as it's not the Dutch national anthem being played every weekend, I don't care. I'm not fussy. Just a different one every so often.
Yeah, it was very monogas this weekend, obviously, because you had it for the track, then you had it for Leclerc, and then it was
Yes.
so it was a very monogas. But that it changes,
There were
as
so
you said,
many
spice it
emotional
up.
people. There
Well,
were so many emotional people.
it's
I mean, I
understandable.
completely understand, but like everybody was crying. The Prince of Monaco was crying.
I was
when
gonna
he
say,
handed him the award.
did you see the Prince as when they were spraying champagne? He joined in. I loved that.
Yes, I did as well.
I
thought that was
absolutely
good
loved
of them.
the fact he was joining in. He was focusing on Leclerc. I loved that, honestly.
That was
I
good.
thought it was brilliant. But no, is there anything else that you sort of wanted to add as well?
One thing. Well, I mean, it was of course 30 years since Senna's death.
Mm.
There was a lot of Senna memorabilia, and of course McLaren with the Senna livery. What was your opinion of it?
You know what? I really enjoyed it. I thought
It was nice. I liked
they hit it well with the sort of tribute. And I'll tell you what, I did buy the shirt.
Oh, did you?
I have bought the shirt.
No.
It should be arriving in July, but I've bought it. yeah, it's a pre-order. It's a pre-order. I think it's like early
Fair enough.
July, mid-July. But I bought it because I thought it was really nice. And I mean, it was just perfect. Although I did see where around the halo was yellow and Piastri's helmet was yellow.
Yes.
So it kind of merged, which was quite funny. I'm not saying it's a
Yeah.
negative, but it was quite funny.
No.
But no, I thought it was actually really nice. And
Yeah,
McLaren
I
do
like it as
well.
well.
They do one-off liveries very well around Monaco. Obviously, last year
Yes,
we had
of
the Triple
course.
Crown.
Oh, that was a good one.
That was
And
good.
then what was it? You had Golf 2021.
Yeah, nothing in 22, but then Golf 21, as you pointed out, which I, is
I
you know,
mean that makes up for
is
2 years. That has got to be to the best livery of all time.
what, the Golf.
Yes, my favourite livery of all time. That Golf livery.
Okay, interesting choice. But no, yeah, you're right, and I hope we do see more special liveries like that.
Yes, of course.
I wonder if they'll carry it into the next Grand Prix, because obviously last year with Triple Crown they went into Spain with it, and they did 2 Grand Prix with that
Yes.
livery. So it'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see whether they do the same.
Potentially.
Um, and also another thing is, since the release of F124 is out, for myself tomorrow, at the time of recording this, it is tomorrow. We will be doing a lot more stuff like the Monaco. Obviously, instead of 22, a 2-year-old game, we'll be modernizing it a bit, and we'll be, using the latest version. Even if I'm crying, which I will be, since I've seen the handling model on the game.
They said
Um,
that was going to be so good about it,
I'm
and it's
gonna.
just no.
eh, it's so bad. It's so bad. But it's fine because you know what? If it's so bad, I could turn it into a video.
Well, there you go.
But no, I think that's everything that we
I
wanted to
think it
sort of
is.
get off our chests for Monaco. But we
Yes.
will be back for Canada, um,
Hmm.
which looking very much forward to. Thank you everyone for watching, if you have actually watched it this far. Um, and we'll hopefully see you next time for Canada as well.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Right, bye.
Yeah. Bye.